What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are talking about what's new with the GoPro 9 and if it's worth upgrading from the GoPro 8 or even the GoPro 7 to the brand new GoPro 9, because as you are well aware, the GoPro 9 is a bit more expensive. So first things first, we do get a brand new box, but the box is not that important. What's important is the fact that we get a carrying case in this box. And with previous GoPros, you always had to buy yourself a carrying case. Well, at least now we get a carrying case, so you can use this for other things as well. Now, the biggest change for this GoPro has to be this screen on the front of the camera. I mean, before we've seen other cameras like the DJI camera that had a front screen, not the GoPro. So now with this front screen, you can frame your shots better. Now, you can also change how that screen displays the image or what the screen displays. So if you go here, so let me turn this around. If you swipe down from the top here, you can select the screen right here, and then you can select what the screen should do. So you can even turn the screen off. So if you're trying to save yourself some power, you can turn off the screen. You can have the screen display some information only. So you're gonna see how many recordings you have, how much battery you have, or you can have the screen showing you what the recording would actually look like. And this is my favorite way because you can frame your shots better. There is also a zoom or a full screen option, and then you'd see yourself like this. But I do prefer to see how the actual shot would look like. So that is one of the biggest changes for the GoPro 9, this front screen here, that makes it easier if you're vlogging, if you're framing a shot, and so on. Something that we don't actually have on the GoPro 8 or the 7. We also get a slightly larger screen on the back of the GoPro 9. Now, it's not that much larger than the screen that we have on the GoPro 8, but it's definitely easier to push things on the screen and to see things on the screen on the GoPro 9. So not a massive change, but a nice addition to the GoPro line, basically. Now, with this larger screen and that front screen, we also get a bigger and heavier camera. So that means a couple of things. The camera is bulkier, and some of the accessories that you may have had for the GoPro 8 will not work with the GoPro 9. So for example, if you have the media mode that you bought for the GoPro 8, well, that's not gonna work on the GoPro 9. So you're gonna have to buy a new one. So spend another, I don't know, $79, I believe that is. So yes, the GoPro 9 is a bit bigger and a bit heavier than the GoPro 8. On the side here we also have another addition, and definitely a welcome addition. That's not something that we had on the GoPro 8, and this is basically a microphone drain. So if you take the camera in water, then it will drain much faster, so it can record the sound much better. I've had the GoPro 8 in water a few months ago, and you couldn't really record the sound afterwards. You had to wait quite a while for the microphone to get dry. So that should be solved with this on the GoPro 9. Another change from the GoPro 8 is the removable and the replaceable lens. So if you do this, you can remove the lens from this. And that means that there will be some aftermarket lenses that will be available. If you do fall and you break the lens on the GoPro 9, you could replace it, something that you wouldn't be able to do on the GoPro 8. So we've seen this with the GoPro 7 in the past, so definitely a nice addition having that option just in case something does happen to your lens. But other than that, the GoPro 8 and the 9 do look pretty similar, and it kind of seems that the GoPro 9 is like the supersized version of the GoPro 8. What's also supersized is the battery inside the GoPro 9. And according to GoPro, you should get about 30% more recording time from the GoPro 9. But it really depends how you use the camera. For example, you could turn off that screen, you can turn off the Wi-Fi connectivity, and this way you can get more battery life. Now, with the bigger battery, that also means that you're gonna have to buy yourself a new charger. So if you had a charger for the GoPro 8, that's not gonna work for the batteries on the GoPro 9. So you will have to buy a new one. So that is a downside, and it really depends how much you want to invest in your GoPro 9 basically. Another change from the GoPro 8 to the GoPro 9 is the fact that the GoPro 9 can now take 20 megapixel pictures, and this is the first time that changed in a long time for a GoPro camera. So now you can take higher resolution pictures basically, and these are some examples of pictures that I took with the GoPro 9 the other day. So definitely a nice addition. Another thing that's different is the higher resolution. So now the GoPro 9, you can record in 5K at 30 frames per second. Now keep in mind that whenever you're recording in 5K at 30 frames per second, you're not going to be able to use that front screen. So keep that in mind. And just to give you an example, this is how a 5K at 30 frames per second recording done with the GoPro 9 looks like. Now you're probably not gonna notice that much of a difference if you'd be to record in 4K at 30 frames per second, but if you're recording in 5K at 30 frames per second, at least you have the option to crop in a bit more and not lose video quality. So I guess that's a bonus having this 5K at 30 frames per second addition. So not a lot of people will use this, but if you do use it and you wanna crop in a bit more, you do have the ability now with the GoPro 9 over the GoPro 8. And since we are talking about resolution, the GoPro 9 also gets better image stabilization. So now we get what's called Hyper Smooth 3.0. And what's interesting, now you can use the boost image stabilization at any resolution. So the GoPro 8 you couldn't do that, but now it doesn't matter if you're recording in 5K at 30 frames per second or if you're recording in 1080p at 240 frames per second. So now you always get that boost image stabilization. I've also done a camera comparison between the GoPro 8 and the GoPro 9, and I've included a bunch of recordings in there. So if you want to see those recordings, I will leave a link in the video description or the top right corner, and this way you can tell how much better the image stabilization on the 9 is compared to the 8. We also get some new features and some modified features from the GoPro 8. One of those is called Hindsight, and what this does, it basically records for 15 or 30 seconds before you actually start recording. Now, I don't see this feature being that popular. I'm not sure when I would actually use this. Not to mention that if you use this, the battery life will decrease quite a lot because the camera basically records non-stop. And whenever you start recording, it will take the 15 or 30 seconds before that and it will add it to your recording. So I'm not sure how popular that feature will be. And we also have more options for the duration here. So now we can do like a 15-second clip. So I don't know, sometimes when I do some reviews, I have to fly a drone or drive an RC car or something like that. So I only need like a 20-30 second clip, but when you start playing with a car or a drone or whatever you're doing, you don't necessarily have the time to turn off the camera. So like this, you can just set a quick duration, then the camera will record for 15-30 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever you need, and then it will stop the recording. So this is something that could come in handy in some situations. There is also a new feature that I find quite convenient in some situations called horizon leveling. So it will basically keep the camera straight. So if you have it on an angle or something, it will straighten up the image basically. But this only works if you're using it in the linear mode. So only like that. You cannot use it in the wide mode, for example. But I tried this the other day and yes, it does work extremely good. So let's say that, for example, if you have like a mount that doesn't stay straight or something like that, you can use that mode and the footage will be straight. So a very, very convenient thing, I think, something that I would definitely use myself. And as I mentioned earlier, I've done that full camera comparison between the 8 and the 9 with a lot of sample recordings in a lot of situations. So you can check that out as well, so you can see if the GoPro 9 would actually be worth upgrading from the 8. Personally, I think that if you have the GoPro 8 and even the GoPro 7, it's not necessarily an upgrade to get the GoPro 9. I mean, you're gonna spend all that money, then you have to rebuy all the accessories. I am kind of sad that I have to buy the media mod once again for the 9. It would have been nice if the media mod from the 8 would have worked on the 9 as well. So in my opinion, if you have the GoPro 7 or the 8, the 9 isn't that big of an upgrade, and you can probably stay with your 8 and 7 for another year and then upgrade whenever the GoPro 9 becomes the GoPro 10. Alright guys, hopefully I answered some of your questions. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer whatever questions you may have. If you did like the video, don't forget to press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.